guys, welcome back to the Jaywalkers page, and my name is Kira Chavez. So today I have a really exciting story for you guys. We're going to be talking about the story of Job in the Bible, and let me tell you something. If you haven't read that already, I encourage you guys to go read it, because I have heard about it before, but it wasn't too recently that I started reading it and researching it, and I was like, there's so much to learn from the story. Like, there's so many ways to go about this and just study and analyze it. And honestly, it's just mind-blowing. I am so excited to share this with you guys. First of all, let me just let you guys know that his name is Job. If you guys didn't know, okay, maybe a lot of you guys already knew, but I didn't. And I was like calling this man Job. And I was talking to Ali, and I was like, yeah, because Job this, Job that. And I was like, you know his name is Job, right? And I was like, duh. Anyways, so there's that. I just wanted to let you guys know. But Job was a man that loved God so much. It says in Job first, he was blameless, a man of complete integrity. He feared God and stayed away from evil. So let me tell you, this man was awesome. He was a great servant, and God was talking about him, right? Then Satan enters the scene. God said to him, have you noticed my servant Job? He's the finest man in all earth. He's blameless, a man of complete integrity, fears God and stays away from evil. Satan replied to the Lord, yes, but Job has good reason to fear God. You have always put a wall of protection around him and his home and his property. You have made him prosper in everything he does. Look how rich he is. But reach out and take away everything he has, and he will surely curse you to your face. And then the Lord said, all right, you may test him. So first of all, let's just start there. God is not the one that was testing him. It was Satan. God allowed it to happen because Satan was saying, well, of course he's faithful to you. You give him everything. He's only obeying you to get what he wants. And, Satan really did put him to the test, because all his servants all of his people, messengers, started coming and telling him, Job, your oxen were plowing with the donkeys feeding beside them. Sabins raided us. They stole all the animals and killed all the farmhands. I am the only one who escaped to tell you. While he was still speaking, another messenger arrived with this news. The fire of God has fallen from heaven and burned up your sheep and all the shepherds. I am the only one who escaped to tell you while he was still speaking. A third messenger arrived with this news. 3 bands of Chaldean raiders have stolen your camels and killed your servants. I am the only one who escaped to tell you. And while he was still speaking, another messenger arrived with this news. Your sons and daughters were feasting in their oldest brother's home. Suddenly a powerful wind swept in from the wilderness and hit the house from all sides. The house collapsed and all of your children are dead. I am the only one who escaped to tell you this. First of all, what? Imagine because when we read this story, I feel like it's so easy to just look at it from an outsider, like a third person, and be like, oh dang, that sucks, but God's in control, we know it's gonna end well, because it's in the Bible, right? You kind of have a beginning to an end. It gives you a sense of peace. Imagine being Job in that situation, and you're so faithful, you're doing everything, and then boom, your whole life is just devastated, taken away from you, everything you loved, everyone you care about, besides his wife. And it's did God forget about me? Is God doing this to me? You know what I mean? And this is how Job reacted. This is the part that got me. He said, I came naked from my mother's womb, and I will be naked when I leave. The Lord gave me what I had, and the Lord has taken it away. Praise the name of the Lord. In all of this, Job did not sin by blaming God. It says that he fell to the ground and worshipped. He worshipped. Guys, I need you to understand what is going on in the story. Job literally lost all of these things that he's had his whole life for, and he didn't deserve it. He didn't even deserve it. If he had it coming for him, he would have expected. He didn't deserve it, and still he worshipped God. And what that makes me think is, it kind of brings to my attention, what would I have done, right? And then it's if I would have reacted in a way turned away from God or been upset or whatever, was my faith really in God, or was my faith in the things that God has provided for me, in the things that God has given me? And what does that even say about my relationship with God? Is my relationship with God based on the things that when things are going well for me, I'm happy, okay, good, we have a deal, a business? And moving on, later in the story, Job keeps worshiping God and being faithful, and then even his wife comes up to him and she sees him in all this misery. He was sick. He was just going through it. It was really, really rough, okay? And she goes, why don't you just curse the name of God and die? Like, you will suffer less that way. And he's like, I can't do that. And then his friends come to visit him and they see the state that he's in, and they are like, whoa. You know how your friends are supposed to be there and help you and encourage you? No. His friends were like, Job, let me tell you something. I don't really know how to tell you this, but like, we know God is fair and God is just. So if he's doing all of this to you, that means that you must deserve it. You must have done something wrong, right? Because they thought that God was the one doing this to him. And he, through all of this, was like, I am innocent. He was explaining. And through a lot of the chapters in this book, they're just going back and forth and talking and arguing and trying to understand and explain and figure it all out until at the end of the book, Job is kind of like getting frustrated. He's like on a roller coaster of emotions. And sometimes he trusts that God is good, but some points he's like frustrated. He's like, God, you're being reckless. And I don't understand why I'm going through this. I don't deserve it. And he demands God to come and explain himself. And let me tell you something. You guys need to read that. God goes off. He is like, Job, you better be ready. You better be prepared. Let me read to you guys what he said, because I was shook when I read it. It says on Job 38:1, if you guys want to look at it. It says, then the Lord answered Job from the whirlwind. Who is this that questions my wisdom with such ignorant words? Brace yourself like a man, because I have some questions for you, and you must answer them. Where were you when I laid the foundations of the earth? Tell me if you know so much. And then God just kind of talks to him about the universe and the complexity of it all and the beauty of it all. And he basically asks even Job if he would be able to run it or even understand and comprehend it for a day. And Job finally comes to his senses and he's like, God, I am so sorry. I have no idea what I was thinking. You know it all. Please, I repent my words. I'm sorry. Basically, on Job 42:10, it says, when Job prayed for his friends, the Lord restored his fortunes. In fact, the Lord gave him twice as much as before. And then later on, it says, Job lived 140 years after that, living to see 4 generations of his children and grandchildren. Then he died, an old man who had lived a long, full life. While I was reading all of this, right, it just made me think about like how so many times we don't understand what God is doing. We don't understand. We have no idea. And to our tiny little brain, human vision, like small vision, it seems like it makes no sense. It's not logic. And because of that, we get frustrated and we get upset and we make assumptions. We accuse God. We question God. But the truth is, we do not understand. We don't have the full vision like God does. How many times, if you just think about it in your own life, when you were a little kid, okay, or even if you have kids, when you were a little kid, like you wanted something really bad, like either to go to a place, to do something, to hang out with a certain person, whatever it is. And your parents was like, nope. And you're like, what do you mean no? Like, come on, I really want this. Like, please just let me go, just let me do it, whatever. And then your parents were like, nope, it's not good for you. You have to trust me. And at that moment, and like now looking at it, you're like, obviously it makes sense. You're a kid, you don't know anything. But when you were in that moment, like put yourself in that place, you had no idea why. You didn't understand. And even if they explained to you, you still didn't think it was fair. You're like, what? And you could have been upset. You could have turned away and ran away, like, or whatever, right? I mean, kids can't really do much like that. But if you did that, you would never come to see why God did the things that he did. And even in the times that you don't understand, like I remember even times in my life where I have asked God, oh God, please let me have this thing. Let me be with this person, like in relationship wise and career wise, whatever it is. And God was just like, kind of shut the door for me. And I was like, and there was a time even that I was just being so faithful and I was praying every day and I was like, God, I'm doing my best here. I don't understand. Like, it's not fair, right? And then later on, I understood why God did what he did or why he didn't do what he didn't do. But even sometimes, like, there's some things that I still don't understand fully, but it's up to me. Am I going to allow myself to think that my knowledge is greater than God's wisdom and that I know that it's not fair and I am going to just turn away from God and be like, you don't get it. You just don't get it. Or am I going to be like, wait a minute, You know, I'm just a little human. God sees the whole vision. Even though it might not make sense right now, even though I might be suffering right now, I know God is going to be faithful. And the question I wanted to leave you guys with so that you can think about it and meditate on, so we can talk about it more on the Zoom meeting on Tuesday, is the first one is, where in your current life are you putting your faith? In what areas? Is it in people, in your job, the things that God gave you, the things that He blessed you with, your plans for the future, relationships, friendships? And with that question, it is, how do you think that that is affecting your relationship with God? And the second question is, what do you think God wanted to teach Job and us through this message? So you guys can think of that, and we're going to be talking more about it on our Zoom meeting on Tuesday, and I'm so excited to see you guys there. But again, if you haven't already, I encourage you guys to read the book of Job, even if you just read the first chapters, the last ones, or try to get through as much as you can.